ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon. All right, listen, everybody. This is the Roundtable. You're listening to us on Broadway World over here on the Broadway Podcast Network, iHeart, Spotify. Our next look, the singing world in LA is like this big, and the singing world in New York is like this big, and the singing world around the world is like this big. And forever, since I wanted to sing and I knew people that sang, I had heard that there was an exclusive event on Tuesdays called Taco Tuesday. And you don't understand that you had to get invited. And it was like the best singers in the entire world. And there was a guy named Stevie Mackey who would play the piano and he would sing. And he has the greatest range and this incredible voice. And he sings all the high notes and all the low notes and all the notes in the middle. And then everybody in the entire world would want to get a ticket to come to Taco Tuesday. And then all of a sudden, Stevie Mackey was doing background work and studio work and recording and everything, a Christmas album. And then he's like the recording and singing teacher for everybody. Like the most famous people in the entire world call Stevie. And Stevie now is all around the world and is a big giant superstar. And I'm a fan. Like I'm a fan of the music. I'm a fan of the voice. I'm a fan of what he does. I'm a fan of the artists that he gets to sing. And I have wanted Stevie to come on this show. And guess who's here? Stevie Mackey is here, everybody. I'm going to wiggle my way into Taco Tuesday, too. Stevie Mackey, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Your introduction was everything.
Stevie,
What's up?
What's
I'm
up?
Here. I'm here with you. I'm here. You get to come to Taco Tuesday.
I'm coming to Taco Tuesday.
Of course.
You know, everybody that is a singer has watched what you have done and has watched your career. You have taught the best. You have sung with some of the best singers. I mean, you have popped up through the years watching TV, and there you are at an award show, and there you are singing with these legends. Do you ever think like, my God, this came together for you?
Yeah, I think that every day. I wake up like, this actually worked. This actually worked. I was never great at school. I was like, didn't know what I was going to do after college, you know, and it just worked. Somehow it worked. Yep, I think that every day.
So when you grew up, gospel music, I know your family was into the church. Was that the original like journey and love?
Yeah, well, I grew up in a family that just sang. My whole family sings. So I grew up in like it was kind of like a Disney movie, right? When you walk around with your friends, you know, hello, good morning. And it was just like this. It was like one of these shows where people just sing, and we just sang. All my parents had friends over the house that sang, and they would harmonize together. And then everywhere I went, my little Christian schools I grew up going to, and they all sang. And then church, they all sang. And I thought everyone sang. I didn't know you can opt out of singing as a human. So I thought that singing was just part of what people did, whether they wanted to or not. So I just grew up doing it, you know?
And was there a moment when you realized like, oh, I can sing, like I've got it?
I mean, yeah, you're in church singing one day and then you hear like, you hear the rumble amongst the saints. And you hear that little rumble, and that means there's something special. There's an anointing or a gift or a talent that they hear. So I grew up and I would start singing in church and I would hear that, and that meant you had something special. And I knew I had something special very young, and I would say it to people who would listen. I would say, I can do that. I can do that. What I meant was I can copy what I heard very well. I can make that sound.
You know your range. I'm sure you know you're a vocal coach. Your range is sick. Like you got these crazy high notes, and then you have your regular, your regular belt, and then you have these. Your range is crazy. Was that something that is just born, or is that something you work on? Like or is it a combination of both?
Oh, it's definitely genetics and effort. It's both. You're born with inherited muscle fibers from your parents. You inherit vibrato. You inherit certain things in the timbre of your voice. These are all things that are inherited through your cells and through genetics. So I got lucky in that way. But I also have been hearing the best music since I was 0. So when you're raised around with that equation, you get lucky. So I did receive a gift, and a gift means that I got it for free. That's what a gift means. It doesn't mean you can't have it. It just means that you might have to work very hard for what someone else got for free. And that's what a gift is. And I did receive a gift, and I thank God for it, and of course my parents. But I worked really hard on that, and I had great teachers. that kept me in first tenor in my chest voice when my voice was dropping. And they'd say, your voice will naturally drop, keep singing first tenor. And also I developed my mix by mimicking certain singers that my parents would play, like Shaka Khan and Aretha. And I would mimic them, and I knew that I could sing in a different area that I found in my early 20s. And I developed that mixed voice that singers talk about. And so I kept trying to develop it and push it and build it like a muscle. And of course, as men, their voices change, that you get the falsetto, and it's it sits nice above upstairs somewhere. So I have that, and so I have a big range, but it is in different groups of notes and different registers. And so I keep working on it. I stretch it all the time. I sing my lowest note a couple times a week and my highest note a couple times a week, like going to the gym.
What I love it, my husband is a pastor's kid, and he grew up in the church. He was a PK too. And what I love about people that grow up in church is that theater differently than church singing. Like I grew up in theater. You get assigned a part, you read your part. In church, you're the soprano this song and you're an alto the next song and you're the soloist the song after. There's a different type of musicality, especially with harmony singing. And when you've done session work, background work, when you work with singers to make vocal arrangements, that's something that the musicality and the music lesson of singing is something that a lot of people, they see their celebrities, they want to sing like them, but they don't know the work, the music, the knowledge, the schooling.
Yeah, that's very true. In traditional music and classic music and musical theater, you're assigned a part. And that's how opera is. That's how it has been. There's a composer who writes a song and says, I need a tenor or a second tenor or, mezzo or whatever the part is. They seek that person in that part. And in gospel, you could forget that. You're lucky to get some good mics. And you better just hold down whoever's not there, whatever part's missing. I've sung every single part, and you got to just fill in. And then you got to do ad libs. So there are parts that you know not of that you have to start singing, and you just start filling in. And the Lord is good. Oh, yes, he is. And you just start filling in, and you start creating and making up songs and making up things. It is just part of being in church. You just got to be ready and jump off the cliff and land on your feet every time. And that's how I was raised.
That's it. So what was the moment when you decided that this was going to be your career? Like, I'm going to make music and showbiz and entertainment my business.
I think that came after I got fired from everything else. I mean, I wasn't great at every, I like a lot of things. I like designing. I went to school for graphic design, and then I also went to college for opera and vocal performance, luckily. And but I wanted to design. I wanted to either draw cartoons or design, and I love a lot of different areas of life, and I think I'd be great in a lot of things if I lived to be hundreds of years old. So, but it was after I'd kind of been fired from a job, and I was like, and people kept asking me to help them sing and to help them harmonize, and I have a group and help them, and can you do this? Can you do? And I had to pay rent, so I was like, yeah, come over, I'll help you. And I was like, I could teach this very naturally. I grew up, my mom's a teacher, my dad being a physical therapist, I understood the muscles, how they stretch, how they are supposed to develop. I knew how this thing worked. I had a special set of ingredients to do this. And I said, okay, I'm just going to do this. And I went and got incorporated in it so I can do it legally, and it became a company. And I started doing this, and I started also recording everything and having people videotape it because I was a young coach and I like tech. I was like, just videotape everything. And so I had I had a little advantage there. I would love to just videotape moments and invite my friends over. But I also taught popular music over opera music. So I taught popular music with opera technique and that I learned in school. So I would teach, when I say pop, like American pop and soul, the music that we've really made famous around the world. Our style of music, pop, rock and roll, jazz, and it is different, and it requires a different set of tools. But I knew those tools, and I knew how to teach it.
What's funny, what resonated with me when I was reading some bio information about you and you studying opera is that growing up in New Jersey, my mom knew nothing about music, and she sent me to a singer, and she taught me like this bel canto style about the tongue and the muscles and how to loosen your jaw and not to push. And when I would go to classes, she would say, you see these great singers, and a lot of them were church singers. She would say they skrelt and belt and they push so hard and they're going to hurt their vocal cords. And I was so mad because I wanted to just have fun and scream and yell and roll around the floor. But there's something so important to protecting your voice and being able to do it properly. Have you seen people that have hurt themselves by not having the proper training?
Absolutely, yeah. And sometimes it's not because of they lack the proper training. Some people innately know how to take care of their voices without training. But I find that voices do get lost over time, and that's usually because they people just never know. And it happens to very gifted people who are very young and gifted, and they never developed practice.
Mm.
Just really practicing and having to warm up and having to develop whatever technique it is. They never really had to work hard at it when they were young. They were so gifted, and as you get older, your muscles don't want to do what they used to do, and you can't just take off and start running down the street anymore. You got to stretch first. And so it's just like singing. You gotta learn to warm up. You gotta learn to warm up and push your voice safely. And if you don't do that, you can hurt your voice. And singers have done it, but I also see a lot of rock and roll and gospel singers who push hard on their voice till they're very old. And that's something that it's hard to say you're going to lose your voice. They used to tell me that in college, and it was like, you're going to lose your voice if you sing in the gospel choir. All that gospel over there, you're going to hurt your tenor. And I knew how to sing gospel with technique. I just had it. I knew how to sing it with technique, and I knew when it was stretching and hurting too much. So I kind of knew that, and that's how I teach it. There's a it, there's in I guess I would say you have the apparatus to make noise as a human, and if you know how to move these parts like a puppet just right, you can make whatever sounds you want to make. And you have tanks that are full. I can make so many of these sounds, so many of these sounds, so many of these sounds. I only have a few of these I can make. I have more of these I can make. And so I kind of see it like a science. And I'm very much a scientist, and I measure how much noise I can make with each valve of my voice. And that's kind of how I feel it. If I want to growl, I can put that in there, but I only have so many that I can do before I feel it. And so I kind of measure it like a scientist.
Do you, being like a scientist, this is so everybody, if you're not a singer, I'm sorry, because I could get real nerdy singer with you all here because this is my life. I love it. Stevie, when you have a song that you're going to perform, or when you're working with a client, or you're on a television show working with somebody, do you map the song out in terms of technique and the way to approach it? Or is it instinctual, or is it a choice? Like, do you take it moment by moment and make a choice, or do you let the person do whatever they feel is what's best for them?
The first time I let them sing it how they feel, and I record that. So I don't want to lose any of that while I get technical. So I let them just run out of breath or feel it or whatever they're going to do. Just do what you're going to do, and I let people sing it through once so I can hear the trajectory of the song. And then after that, I break songs down, usually 2 lines at a time, or in sections of breath. I break everything down into sections of breathing, because every section of breath is a choice, it's a decision, and you have to gauge how much breath you need per section. So, for instance, if I'm singing the national anthem, if I go, "Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proud?" Like every time I breathe, those are sections, and I work on 1 to 2 of those at a time. And I say, "Is that the best we can do it? Okay, let's move to the second section of breath. Is that the best we can do it?" And I say, "How much do you need for this? You're going to have to take more over here." And I'll write it down. And it's like math. And I'll take it section by section. And I'll say, "Are you going to sing full voice here? Are you going to flip the falsetto? Exactly where are you going to flip? Exactly where? Let's practice those 2 notes. Get to know those 2 notes." And I break it down until there is no more thought involved. And after it becomes like water, you don't have to think about it. And all of your worries can be on what you're going to wear, or And if you mess up, it's fine. It's fine. It's you did your best. But I definitely break everything down. And if you like ad libs, I record those on voice memo, and we'll learn how to breathe before them and after them, where they're going to fit. So I do like it to be by the book. And after you do this for enough years, you don't have to do it much anymore. I can get away with singing a song pretty flawlessly that it just, you can get away with it. You get lucky sometimes. You get lucky more times than not. So you get used to gauging the breath through a song and knowing where everything should go. But at first it could be like musical chairs. Like somebody doesn't have a seat here, so you gotta like assign it.
Did you hear him sing that, everybody? This is live. This is through his computer. My drag name is Pitch Corrector, because that's what I need when I'm in the studio. So Stevie's just got it. So this is my thing. You're in LA, right? You start this business inside the singer world. If you think TV and film is nasty, try to be a session singer, a background singer, try to be a professional singer in Los Angeles. It's a small community. There's a lot of people who are out here on these streets. How did you feel when you came into this community? And then what was that differentiated you, that started to get you the clients, the gigs, the notoriety? What did you do?
Number one, I could sight read.
Oh.
I learned how to sight read. That's an old thing we used to do back in the old day before we had gramophones and all this digital recording. We used to have to sight read music to know how it sounded. It is true. We couldn't listen to music for a long time, and then now it's not as necessary, but it is big in the world of movies and traditional singing. Sight reading is important for certain things. So I graduated and learned I'd known how to sight read. I wasn't excellent, but I knew how to get through it. And there are a handful of vocal contractors in Los Angeles. Out of all the millions of people here, there are just a handful. One hand. 5. But as soon as I got out of college, I think I maybe knew one or two of them, but they all know each other, and so I was recommended for certain things, and then this one knew that one, and I would show up and I'd be fed and ready and happy, and I knew I had to kind of sight read for most parts because they couldn't send you files that were private and that were for movies or certain things. So you would show up and just sing what was there and get paid, and it was great. Sorry. Windows open. But it was so cool to be able to make money singing. So number one, I could sight read, and number two, I wasn't afraid to post videos of myself singing, and that's always a big thing. Just let people know you sing. Let them know you want to sing. You gotta let people know what you want to do if you want to do it more. So those are some things I did, and I knew people. I would show up to everything. I showed up to everything. I would show up in my car to every concert, wherever the singers were, every show, every whether I had a ticket or not, I would still show up. I would show up and wait back in the back parking lot. I would show up and wait in the front to see who walked out. I remember being very young, like 19, 20, and I would show up at concerts. I would just go. No business going to these things. I would just go. I said, maybe the drummer will walk out and I'll get to meet them. And maybe someone will walk out, a background singer, hopefully, and I can tell them who I am. So I'd show up to everything, all the open mic nights. And I would have come to Taco Tuesday, every single one, if I were, 19. So I used to show up to everything, and that's how you build it. It's a community. And someone's going to say, hey, get up there one day. Get up there. They're going to say that. I'm going to say, get up there. Are you ready? And you got to be ready to get up. And that's what I showed up with.
And that's the best lesson. That is the absolute best lesson, everybody, is, find the people, figure a way. The hard part, Stevie, is to be creatives have to be creative how to break into this business. Sometimes you have to figure your way in. What is your way in? Because and that's an amazing piece.
There's no set path. It's not like becoming a doctor or anything else. There's no set path. You just have to figure it out yourself. Mm-hmm.
So when did the clients start coming? When did you start getting regular singers that wanted to lessons, but then all of a sudden, superstars start calling Stevie and saying, help me, let's do this?
It is hard to remember, but it just, everyone kind of knows each other. Like you said, the singing world is small, and they would say, hey, learning from Stevie Mackey. He taught me how to do some runs, and now I can hit my high notes or whatever it is. And they would tell each other, and I didn't know. I didn't know who was going to be next. Someone would tell someone else, and someone's parents were in the business, and then they would tell other people, and there were a lot of notable people that that came through, and they were working on things, and they would tell their friends. So it was all just kind of word of mouth. That's just how it works. Like a lot of things, it's just people trusting other people and saying, "All right, I'll give it a try." And that's all. That's all. That's all it is.
So when you see the artist you work with, and he's very modest. Well, I'm not. But if you see J Lo at the Biden inauguration, or if you see Selena Gomez, or if you see Nicole Scherzinger win a Tony Award in the work that you've done with her, or Lenny Kravitz, who I think his voice is as good as it was 40 years ago. Really, I mean, talk about rock and roll singer who still got it. You have become somebody who there's a lot of pressure in what you do. They have a lot of pressure, and then you're the person that they lean on. Are you ever nervous before a client has a big number that you've worked on?
Oh yeah, I get nervous. I get nervous like I'm doing it myself all the time, all the time. But I'm a naturally very calm person. I just am, and so I work well when I get a little bit of nervousness in me. I work better, I think. So some people need to come down, and I'm not that guy. I could stand going up a little bit. I'm always a little below the radar, just in case. So I'm good under some pressure, and I definitely feel like I feel like it's gonna be me up there, and I'm like, okay, let's see. I can feel this with you. I know how it's gonna be. You got to breathe like this. You got to do this. So yeah, I naturally feel that, and I think there's different kinds of nervous. There's a good nervous where you feel like I'm ready, but I'm still scared, and then there's the nervous like, oh, I don't know if I ever got ready for this. So
Yeah.
you want to be the good nervous.
So how's it been being more public? I mean, you've always been a performer, but now your social media is blown up. You're known as the person who, the coach that helps all the superstars sing. People have now reached out to you. People ask you for advice all the time. You have millions of followers and millions of views on social media. Is that a fun part of the gig? Is there a different type of pressure to that? How has that been?
I think it's definitely fun, and the reason I think it's fun is because people know me for something. I tell you.
Hi, puppy.
Babe. It's cool when people know you for something and not just fame itself. And so they know me. If they come up to me, they love music. They probably sing, and they're someone who I probably want to meet. So it's that type of thing, and I like this level of it. It's nice. It's not scary at all. I mean, I'm from California. I grew up seeing people come here all the time, and I know what it is, and I know what it's not. So, it's cool.
So how did Taco Tuesday start? And the lore? Did you know how elusive and industry lore the Taco Tuesday had become? Did you know that the singers were trying to get an invite?
Oh my god, it's crazy. I mean, it started right here in my house, in the little house I have, and it's in the kitchen. I make tacos, but it was tacos. Of course, are like sandwiches to us in LA. They're very common. And when I started, I didn't have much. I didn't even have a stove actually, so I had a little skillet. We make tacos in this little skillet, and I would make tacos and invite people over for my recital. And so this was my version of a recital, but we were gonna have fun because I always thought recitals were boring. And I was like, we're gonna have fun. Everyone's gonna sing background for every song. We serve tacos. We're gonna sing all night till the police come and shut us down. And then we're gonna have well-known people and people that are not known at all together. We have the pros and the beginners on one stage, and you get to feel like everyone is the same because we are. And so that's kind of how it started. And then I would do it at Selena's house or J Lo's house or different people's houses or different spaces, and it of course people see videos of it, and it just became a thing, and it's a music jam session that has become part of LA culture, and so it's become a lot of fun, a lot of fun.
It is. It's a part of culture, and it continues, and it's grown, and it's become a whole thing that I'm sure when you started cooking on that skillet, you never thought it was ever going to be.
No, I did not think.
So how can the average person who's not in LA that may not have the means to be able to fly to your house and sit in your living room and have a personal lesson with you, get support and get help. You have thought of creative ways and ideas for people around the country to be able
Yeah.
to get some of the skills you have.
Yeah. I have a few online courses that are really cool. I have one at NYU. I have two classes with Studio, and Studio is an incredible site, and it's an online interactive course that is incredible at figuring out how to teach people things. And Matt, who runs it and started it, he reached out to me years ago, and I was like, I don't know if people will take classes online. I don't know if it'll be a thing. And then like I filmed it, and the pandemic hit, and everything was online, and it blew up. And so it really did well. So that's an incredible. I have two. I have a beginners and a more advanced class that I go through a lot of runs and stuff and more technical warm ups. So it's become a big thing. I have a couple ways. And how that's how I.
You can find it, and you can always go below us when you're watching us right now. The links will all be below us where you can find out where to follow him on social media. His website, steviemackey.com. You can find information there as well, and all of that stuff is going to be available. So if you're a young singer, if you're looking for a way to do it, if you want to see some tricks of the trade, you can get the videos and get all of the scoop. Is there something that you think people have when your voice and your work and the people you work with and get on stage, what is the misconception about it? What do you think wish people knew when they see someone sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl or perform at the Grammy Awards about what goes into something like that?
uh, there are so many misconceptions because singing is mysterious. Nobody likes to show themselves working at becoming anything, especially a singer. It's very hidden. It's very hidden because there's so many mistakes that happen. And so, number one, please make the mistakes.
Mm.
And I think the biggest misconception is you don't really have to love your voice to be an effective singer. You don't have to love your voice today, what it is. It's not, that's not a thing you have to feel. If you feel a responsibility to sing, you sing. You just sing. You don't have to be the biggest fan of your own. You don't have to love your sound and your tone. You don't have to fall in love with everything you do and sing. You just have to do it. And you have to feel a responsibility to do it. So you just have to do it. It's like get yourself some discipline and start doing it. You can't think about becoming a better singer. You can't think your way into being a singer. You have to actually do it. It's like playing basketball. You have to actually shoot the ball to become better, no matter how much you know. So you have to just do it. And I say that you don't have to love your voice because it's not something you get to decide on a lot. You have the tone you have, and you just make the sounds you can make and do the best you can. And you can make tweaks along the way. But if you feel like you should sing, sing. And if you don't like your tone, I can guarantee you I can show you several big hits of a person who has a tone just like yours.
Mm.
Whether it's squeaky, raspy, tinny,
Mhm.
heavy, whatever tone you have, someone has figured it out and made a song that people want to hear with it.
That's great advice.
You know, it just figure it out. If you want to do it, and it won't leave you alone. If you're supposed to be singing, it won't just leave you alone. Singing bothers you, and it's like I'm supposed to be doing it. I'm supposed to be doing it. Deep inside when you're supposed to be singing, and maybe only you know. So you just gotta go with what you know.
That story moves me, and this interview is about you. But when I was 18, I left Juilliard to become a teacher because I was too afraid to sing. I thought the business was scary. I think singing business is scary. It was scary. I was scared. I'm never going to get a job. I'm never going to make a living. And it chased me my whole life. And at 33, when I put out an album called Unfinished Business, it was about coming back to it because everything in my body, in the spirit, and in my energy pushed me to want to sing. And I think if you are that kid that thinks of nothing else more than concerts and theater and singing and music, and you're listening to every new album that comes out every Friday, if it's in your spirit, it is going to chase you. He told you it's going to just follow you.
Exactly. Robert, you have to love it more than you fear it. It is scary. You have to love singing so much that it outweighs the fears of it. That's it. And like Whoopi said in Sister Act 2, baby, if you wake up and you can't think about nothing else but singing every day, you're supposed to be a singer.
So for you, what is next? What, you have a Christmas album. Christmas is coming. It's a gorgeous album, everybody. You should be streaming and add it to your rotation. We bump Christmas music in this house 24/7, 365. What is next for you? How does Stevie get to still be the artist, Stevie, aside from being the man that everyone wants to sing with?
I'm meeting with producers all the time, this week, next week, and I'm writing with them. And I'm kind of becoming a songwriter. I'm not a natural songwriter. I don't wake up every day and want to write, but I'm becoming one. I think it's in people, and then you just have to exercise it. So I'm doing that. I want to put out more albums. I want to put out a gospel album. I want to put out an album of my favorite Disney songs. I want to put out several other amazing albums. So I'm working on that, and I love to do it. I love to do it. And, a couple performances I'm excited about. I'll be announcing soon. So, all the things. I'm a lot of people in one. I think all artists are. We're a lot of things in one.
I'm excited. You know what I know about you, and I don't know you at all, but what I know you now. I see you on social media. I know him in his DMs and say, I love you in London, and you're out here working. I see how hard you work, but what I love about you is you are such a cheerleader for artists. You always have kind words to say. It's not me or anyone. The first time Stevie ever reached out was when I put music out. He follows people's music. He stands for artists and getting out there. You are not a jealous, competitive kind of person who's like, where's my flowers? Like, you give your flowers to people out here in this business, famous, not famous. You see somebody doing something and you reach out, and it means a real lot to a lot of singers and artists out here.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. There's no other way to be. No other way to be. So yeah, I'm always going to be a fan of everyone else. There's room for everyone. There's room.
Are you listening to anything good? Do you have a recommendation? Do you have what do you listen to, Stevie Mackey?
What do I listen to?
I'm so mad because Stevie's got such good hair, and my hair, I had to give it a little wave, but it's just sad.
I'm trying to fix my hair before this interview. I said I got 2 minutes.
Look at his hair, everybody.
But it is a good day, I admit.
It's beat down.
Oh, thank you. I
Do you listen to the new Mariah? Do you listen to new gospel?
I'm listening to that today. I mean, I can't wait to listen to it. My sister texted me like, "Have you heard the new Mariah?" I said that's on my list today. I mean, I love singers. I love new singers. I'm listening. Look at this. I go from Max Richter to Hall & Oates.
See?
To Bon Iver, Doja Cat, Olivia Dean. I don't even know these, but Zed, Enya, Frank Sinatra, Kelly O'Hara. I'm just going on. There's so many things. But I have playlists, and I playlist a lot. I have my classical, my Broadway. I don't know. Right.
Yep.
Anyway, so many. My 80s playlist, my beach playlist, my Christmas playlist, my Disney favorites, my jazz. So I playlist everything, and every day I wake up, I say, what am I feeling? And I put on a playlist. And a lot of my playlists are instrumental. There's no singing at all. And there's just music playing like a soundtrack. And I play music in my house all the time.
I love it. Same. I get it. Oh, Stevie, I get you. I just can't sing as good as you. And I don't have as good of a closet either. But that's another show. And when I'm in LA, I'm coming to Taco. I'm going to crash Taco Tuesday.
You're not crashing because you're invited. So you better be here.
I'm ready. Stevie's going to be on the keys. I'm going to sing something, and I'm not going to embarrass myself. I'm ready.
And I'll get you better right on the spot. I'll fix it right on the spot. I'll say, let's get this key. Let's do this. Let's do it like that.
I'm in. We're here for you. We love that you're here. It means a lot. A lot of people who watch the show in New Jersey Performing Arts Center, the students that are in musical theater there, everybody here in Detroit Institute of Art that reaches out to me. We're out here in Detroit right now that is asking about how to be a singer. Follow Stevie. Follow the people who do it the best. And if you love J-Lo and Selena and all these amazing singers, they look to him to make sure that they know what they're doing. So you do the same. I'm honored. I'm very grateful you're here, and I'm very grateful that we got to chat. Thank you.
Thank you. You're so much fun. You're so much fun, Robert.
I love the Stevie Mackey, everybody. I love it. I love it. I love it. So singers, be ready and come back anytime you got something fun to talk about.
I will. I love this. I loved it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.